Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I'm your host Richard Swan, and here we are in the studio again, meeting another fascinating individual, and this man is. So straight off the bat, full disclosure, I already know of this gentleman. I don't know his full story, which is why I love having people into the studio and interviewing them. But David Smart, I know him through Paul McFadden's property protege training. Seen him going through the motions, seen him building his business, seen him starting his whole journey, his whole path. And it's amazing. It's brilliant what he's managed to do already. I want to hear more about his plans. I want to hear about his challenges, because he's a guy who he shares stuff within that community. You know, he'll share what he's up to and flips and deals and things that are going on and videos and, you know, answering questions, this kind of stuff. Just a typical businessman who's clued in, knows the power of networking and knows the power of helping other people, and he's helped so many people along that journey so far. So it's great to hear what's behind that, what's going on, you know, what's your thoughts, what's your plans, what's going on. So welcome, David. How are we, sir?
Brilliant, aye, thanks.
This is great. This is great. We're going to pull away all the layers of the onion to see what's behind the curtain, as they say. Aye. But let's start with before all this, because we're going to jump into things, right? What you doing now, and what's the projects, and what you focusing on, and where are you working? Because as we both know, that there's so much you can do in property. You know, we both know people who, you know, specialise in HMOs or land or service accommodation or this strategy or that strategy, and there's short-term stuff and long-term, all that. We're going to get into that. And I want your opinions and your experiences about just the world in general, the market. We'll see where we go there. Yep. But what was David's before this? You know, what was the story before this? Because I know you've had a big milestone you've shared recently about how your life itself has changed and you wanted it to go that way. But let us know, what's the story? Did you come straight out of school and jump into the property world? No. I don't think so. No. What's the story?
Just like most of my mates and people around about me growing up, excuse me, I went straight into a trade after school. Right. So 5th year of school, I just I left school. It just wasn't for me. Any further education, university, and that just was never going to be for me. I went in and got a trades at heating and ventilating, industrial and commercial engineer. So, and
was that a deliberate plan? Was that my dad did that? No, just what I think you do.
Totally fell into it. My dad was actually doing more looking for jobs than I was, probably. Aye, so he was kind of. He was right on me, man. You need to get a job, you need to get a trade, you know.
Brilliant.
So he was out sort of looking, speaking to his mates, speaking to some recruiters and stuff. And I just kind of fell into a pipe fitting company. Right. They weren't quite sure what to do with me. So it was one of them, you know,
like
it's quite
a new, what the hell are we going to do with him?
Quite a new company. So it was kind of, they had a meeting with the college. The college didn't really know what to do, so the closest thing was a heating apprenticeship, which at the time I was just kind of like, I was just rolling with the punches, really. I was just,
where do you want me to go?
This is what it is. They were kind of folding 2 years into my apprenticeship, so I went to a proper heating company. Finished my apprenticeship, and literally I made a decision probably 6 months before my time was out. I wanted to go offshore. So that's kind of that was my aim.
And why? How did that come into your world? Did you see other people doing it?
Again, I remember my dad's telling me something about it. Just one day, just out of nowhere, you should go offshore, good money. And I was like, all right, that sounds good. And I just kind of looked into it, more and more, sort of every month sort of thing. And then decided by the time, when my time was out, you know, I'm going to make a go at it. So my time was out in like August or something like that. I went and done my courses in December, the Christmas holidays period. I went and done the courses then, and
so they like specific for that world. You're doing this thing, but then you need to train for this other environment, right?
So having the pipe fitting background, that was where I was going to aim for. You know, go offshore as a pipe fitter. Wow. And I done the courses, as I say, in that period in between Christmas and New Year. You know, I done them all then, which was a strange time to do that sort of stuff. But so I done that, and by April I had my first trip. So that was it, and it went for there. You know, it wasn't quite offshore at that point. It was in a place called Flotta.
Up north. At that.
At Orkney, just to be island off Orkney. So I was there for 18 months, then went offshore, and that's basically been me ever since. You know, for the next 8 years until I decided to obviously do this, you know.
That's incredible. And the first, that first, whether it was the wee island or then, onto different platforms and things, what were you thinking? It was like, aye, this is good. This is what I thought. Well, this is better than I thought. Or, oh my God, I didn't realise it was going to be like this. Wait, do you remember that time?
Aye, I do. Yeah. I just remember thinking, back then, I went from, a time served wage to an oil and gas wage. And I just remember thinking, I've got too much money.
I've done it. I've made it.
Aye, it's crazy. But honestly, it's mental what goes through your head. But
and how long are you out there? At different stints.
So back then it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. That's what everyone seemed to do. It wasn't until a few years ago they changed to 3 weeks, and then depending on where you were, if I was over in Azerbaijan or something like that, it'd be 4 weeks.
Right.
But it was great. I loved it.
It's enjoyable.
I loved it. I loved the lifestyle. I loved going away, doing your trip. You're out there. You go to the gym. You good food and stuff, and and the work was quite laid back.
Right.
To come back and you've got 2 or 3 weeks at home, and you just spend with the missus, your mates, whatever, going to parties, whatever. So. I love the lifestyle of it, and obviously when you have kids it just totally changes,
Right, so that's the switch for you, is it? Because I'm thinking there, well, wait a minute, you're not on, this week in offshore, this is this week's property. So that sounds great, everything was going fine, and that, the mega buck wages go through the roof, this is brilliant, but there's a change there, so it's the kids, is that what it is?
Aye, it was, he was born in January 2020,
right.
And it was kind of then, it's one of the ones that me and my mate John, who is my business partner now in the property development company,
right.
We've always said for years and years ago, growing up, well, we're going to, as a lot of people do, we're going to do something property, we're going to rent out a house or something.
So it was always kind of
in the background,
Yeah.
We never actually done anything about it.
Right.
And it wasn't until, my boy was born, and it was like a turning point, definitely. Lockdown as well. As crazy as that's been for everyone, it was actually a massive push for me, because when he was born in January, I think we were locked down in middle of March.
Yep.
So I think I'd done maybe 1 or 2 trips from when he was born.
Right.
We were locked down in March for 3 months, so I didn't do anything for like 3 or 4 months. Right. No trips, spending every day with him.
See.
And obviously the bond, as you can imagine, the bond just we grew right close to each other.
Yeah.
So I think March, June, it's about June or July time.
Right.
I went again another trip, and then I done another quick trip.
Right.
Because I was trying to get the money back in.
Right.
And every single trip was just brutal. It was
totally different.
It was totally different. I just didn't enjoy it anymore. It was so hard being away from him. It's so hard leaving.
Yeah.
I think James Doran touched on it as well.
That's right. Another amazing background in that world.
You try and hold in the tears, kind of. Do you know what I mean?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right,
I'll see you soon.
It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. That day or two before you're going away offshore, it just totally changed.
It's quite a common thing, do you think, in that world? When guys hit that situation, or is there guys you've met actually? They just deal with it, and that's who they are. And
yes and no. I mean, I think you justify it a lot when you're out there.
Right.
You kind of tell yourself, I'm doing it for them. Everything's for them, and it is.
Sacrificing myself.
Of course. But inside, you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're not happy. You know what I mean? So it's something I had to give with that, and
right.
I couldn't. A lot of guys go out there and they go. A lot of guys love being away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, a lot of them are like me, and they do just. You hear them, you can tell, because my mindset totally changed, and you can tell they're justifying. Yeah. And that's what I was doing. I was definitely just justifying. It's fine because I'm doing it for him, and
pushing those feelings down.
Aye, definitely.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
It was, but once I went back in sort of June time, I was lucky enough to get 3 trips on night shift.
Right.
And that was, you do nothing in night shift. Literally.
Oh, really?
Aye, it's dead quiet. So you just
world.
kind of, loads of time in your laptop, loads of time to yourself.
Right.
And I was just constant property, every single night for sometimes 12 hours a night, because if I'm doing nothing,
Wow.
it was constant. I would end up going over the same stuff again and again, same videos, and I think that's where I got my early education from. Just YouTube, podcasts. I was reading the odd book. And that's what really, there came a point then after sort of the 3rd trip where it was like, right, I've kind of hit a bit of brick wall here in terms of the free education I can sort of get online.
Sure.
And I felt like, you know, I needed something else. I needed something extra to kind of push me on.
Right.
Which is obviously where I found Paul, you know.
And that's where you seen Paul and Protégé and everything. That's fascinating. See, at that time, I wonder if your mind can go back there actually, before you did change and, you know, increase education, as you say. During that kind of time, looking about YouTubes and books and everything else, what did you have in your head? Was it still that kind of buy to flip strategy? Were you thinking, oh, I'm going to build a portfolio? Do you remember what the game plan was?
It was always buy to flip.
Was it?
It was always, I thought, you know, I'm going to flip properties. It will be that whole getting big chunks of cash in 20, 30 grand in a flip, and not knowing, you know, you need to wait 6 months, not knowing, you know, all the things that you know now. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. You need to wait months to get paid and stuff. And listen, it's a brilliant strategy if you've got 3 or 4 going on at one time.
That's right.
But when I came to Protégé, it was evident that that's not how I was going to leave my work. You know, that's not an immediate
shift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Little did I know, I'd already done my last trip offshore anyway when I came to Protégé.
Right.
I didn't expect that. I just, when you come here, you realise, for me it was kind of, my main goal was to quit my job.
Right.
That's what it was. I wanted to do property full time.
Focus.
And I had to find out the quickest way to do that. Now,
right.
Day 2 of Protégé, I was still all about the flipping.
Were you?
I was still thinking I'm going to flip, it'll be fine, like I'll find deals and it'll be great. And day 3, it just kind of, it just hit me that it's not going to be that easy to find the flips. I probably will find, you know, 1 or 2. But if I want to quit my job within the year, I'm going to need to look at better ways to get quicker cash flow, which is where obviously the sourcing came in, you know. Yeah,
the whole trading, sourcing, and what have you, packaging, whatever you want to. There's so many labels, God, but we're essentially doing the same kind of thing. That's fascinating. I love that. So you kept your goal in mind, your target in mind. This is what I want. I'm wanting this kind of lifestyle change and this career change. But now I'm seeing different strategies of how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to pick and choose mine. You know, I'm going to form my own journey. You know, there's other people in that room around you doing, I'm going to do such and such. Because that's the thing, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? We can do it full time, we can do it part time, we can do it whatever we want. That's the beauty of that world of property. So the trading thing clicked in for you. And you mentioned the business partner, John, and doing that kind of thing. Was that carried along all the way through this? Was he doing the kind of online training as well, or did he drift off and you came back in? How did that slot together?
So after Protégé, I was like a lot of new Protégés that complete the course, you know, and they think, God, what do I do now? You know, your head's fried for like a good wee while, isn't it? I was like that. Right. And I just it's funny because I remember going up to my attic, and me and the missus had already agreed, like, this is the route I'm going to go down. Right. That's it now, you know. Was
she quite happy with that?
Aye, she was, but
was she seeing that?
She was really.
Dad's coming back home here.
She supported me so much, you know what I mean. But there was the odd time, obviously, she says like, come on, go down the stair or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. But no, she's so supportive. So
that's good.
Yeah, I just remember the first time going up. It was like my official day 1 of after the course. Right, let's try and make stuff happen now. And I just went up to my attic and I just looked at all my notes and just like, what am I doing? I had no idea what I'm doing. So I mean, in terms of John, me and John, I spoke to John about it, and he was just like that. He was all over it. Do you know what I mean? He was. You could probably tell how buzzing I was about the potential that we can achieve and stuff, and he, as I say, he was always wanting to do it anyway. So
exactly,
I think he's actually going to come on in November and do.
Oh, nice one! Do a train himself as well. That's brilliant.
So we kind of formed the development company, and the sort of sourcing. The sourcing company wasn't quite set up yet because we weren't just too sure of how to structure stuff and that. So
so what's the development company? Give us a wee plug. What's that one called?
Strathclyde Property Investors.
Strathclyde Property Investors, right. So that'll be in the show notes, folks. Make sure you hook into this. Brilliant. And then the sourcing side, you started that kind of afterwards, did you?
We kind of. I was kind of doing that myself anyway, and then once it became kind of, me and John were we just kind of went into it, you know, and we didn't really structure stuff properly at the time, you know, so we were just going in, and as I say, we found our SSA, which we're probably going into and stuff, but now it's so much, but like John's got his own electrical company, so he quit his job. He was working down south, he's quit his job.
Wow.
He started his own electrical company. I've got my own sourcing company, and we've got the development company sitting in the middle there,
That's
and it's all
fantastic.
any properties that I kind of saw, so we'll do together in the development company. And then he's got his income from his electrical company, so it's worked out really well the way we've actually structured it now. But
it's amazing how you can do it, joint ventures and partnerships, and I can do this, I can bring this to the table. I love that about business. It's fantastic. Great stuff. Right.
It was.
And then, God, you've just came flying out the blocks from everybody else's view. It's great how you're painting your picture. I mean, I remember day one of my take, and Jesus, I didn't know what was going on. But everybody else now says, like, have you seen what he's up to? It's like deal after deal after deal. I mean, it's crazy, some of the numbers. I remember obviously we have our wee weekly calls. We do these weekly support calls and stuff. And you were kind enough to come in and just do a wee check-in, share what you were doing, and kind of numbers and stuff, just to kind of, motivate people and encourage them. I think in my head, I remember, keep me right here, I did the training Octoberish, and then I had I've stacked up 17 deals since then, and then 2 assisted sales. Am I right with numbers and timelines? Repeat it for me.
I think then it was run about they sort of numbers.
Was it? So that was accurate at the time. Aye, yes it is. I've not stopped, he says.
Aye. Listen, like, I don't want to even go ahead without mentioning that. See all these deals. This couldn't have been possible without Protege, without the tribe, without the group, and the joint ventures, and the people. That if you have a deal and it doesn't suit your investors, you go to somebody. You kind of co-source it. Likewise, if somebody has a deal and they come to me, I'll take it to my investor. And it's loads of deals have been like that. Brilliant. So it's. Like you mentioned at the start, the networking thing, it's massive. It's a massive part of property, without a doubt. And like as I say, I couldn't have achieved what I have without networking with people in the group. Teaming up with people, doing deals together with people.
Fantastic.
So I mean, right now I think I'm sitting at like 33.
You need to slow down, man.
Again, it's purely it was just getting yourself out there initially. My first deal came pretty soon after Protege.
Did it?
And it was.
So you still remember that one, do you?
100%.
Right.
It was kind of. It was one of the ones. Should I change my LinkedIn? Should I not? I'm quite scared. I'm worried about people's going to think and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then I just kind of went for it.
Right.
And I kind of changed over to what I want to do and just went forward with it. Just ran with it, sort of thing. People were asking, "What are you up to? What are you doing?" And it was actually one of my best mates that says, "Oh look, I know a boy that's coming for an interview for my company. He's looking to sell his property." I was like, right, okay. So I didn't actually phone him for like another 2 weeks because I just didn't really, that way. So
that's like me with my first portfolio deal. I just sat on it for like 3 weeks. Like, oh my God, what are we like? Brilliant.
Eventually I went and saw his property.
Right.
Took the photos and stuff like that, and just started like putting it all over social media and just saying like, I've got this deal. A woman came forward and says, look, I'd be interested. So we done a viewing, and I remember the first thing she said was she walked in, she was 2 seconds, and she just says, this isn't for me. I was like,
really?
You've only been in 2 seconds?
Just in the door? Oh, for
but
God's
she says,
sake.
but I've got some investors that might be interested in it.
Right.
So they ended up taking the deal.
Right.
And that was the start of it.
Yeah.
For me. So, I ended up forming quite a good relationship. I still do have a good relationship with these two women. And they were massive for me. They really, because of me putting that deal out initially, them taking it, I then got another deal through my same mate.
No way.
Another guy looking to sell. They took that one as well.
Right.
So then it was like, right, something good here. These guys are buying deals. So it just kind of went from there, Richard. It just kind of snowballed, and when I was getting the wee deals here and there, I was just going straight to these 2 women, and they were taking it to their investors. So again,
you're that middleman, that perfect middleman.
So, after a while, building up a little pot of cash, really, I was able to then spend a little bit on marketing. Right. Just like most people do, they dabble a little bit. Yeah. That's kind of what I done. Right. And it wasn't until January I really started spending some good money on marketing, and that's kind of when not really. January, February were hopeless because we totally messed up the ads. But from March onwards, it really started going really good.
Brilliant. That's business, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're testing things, we're checking them, test and measure. As we always say with the market and stuff. How's that going? How's that working? Where will I put my focus, etc. That's the kind of the beauty and the uncertainties of business. You're testing and pushing things out. And you're starting to change things. And you started that relationship you were talking about there and investments, and then you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, I've got a nice wee pot here, I'm now going to do my own marketing elsewhere. You're not relying on one area. I love that. I love how you can grow that. And for the folks, I think I'm trying to think of all the people who are watching, listening, etc., and complete maybe novices, etc. What is he talking about? What does he mean to do it? I've seen Homes Under the Hammer. Right. What's this guy David talking about? Like sourcing, trading, dealing, whatever. So it's that kind of high level scenario of you've got the skills, the knowledge, the database, the marketing, all the information to find opportunities.
Yep.
And whether it's kind of offline, as you said, through different contacts and resources, or whether it's online, or you're doing marketing online, marketing offline. The ones you were talking about when you were doing March and stuff, was that a mixture of both, you online and offline? Were you mostly focused in one way?
All online. Really.
It was online stuff. Yep, doing it that way.
We've done the boards and the leaflets and stuff, and we've not really. Although that's more brand awareness with the boards and stuff, the leaflets didn't really get as much.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, we should still be doing them consistently anyway. You should be, and that's up to us. We need to sort of get our finger out with that. But it was mostly just all online marketing, really. Just setting ourselves up with an agency, because we kind of failed at it ourselves. So it was like, right, let's just pay them money
let's outsource.
Exactly. And ever since then, we've not had to even think about changing the agency or anything. It's just went from strength to strength, really.
That's great.
The great thing I like about it is I'm learning a lot about marketing all the time.
Of course.
And it's dead interesting.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect. You know what I mean?
Buzz from it.
I love. I mean, I met with somebody in the group as well, and I was at a point where I was kind of thinking, we're spending a good amount in marketing, we're going to get deals, and it was just kind of sitting back. And ever since I had this meeting with Gary, it was like, another trigger just went, and I just thought, there's so much more to this.
Yeah.
There's the thinking outside the box part, and there's trying to be different for the other part, and there's, there's. Because there is a lot of us doing it, so it's trying to think of different wee images or ad copy or something that it just gives you the wee edge, and that's what I love about it. I love trying to just think.
There's a whole new world opened up for you,
exactly,
isn't it? That pipe fitter, and suddenly he's this marketing genius, moving about and changing his copy and stuff. Oh, brilliant! Yeah. So getting back to help the folks listening in, so there you've got your business where through various ways, resources, networks, marketing, to find an opportunity, and then once you've got it, you're then analysing that, running the numbers on it, and sometimes you and John, you're deciding actually we'll run this one ourselves and we'll put it in a development company, or there's other people that want to take that from you, they want to buy those deals from you, the investors, they've not got the skills, they've got the money, but they've not got the skills that you have, they've not got the business and the contacts, and they can actually purchase it from you, and you're making money that way, helping those people. It's an amazing thing how many people you can help with it all.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's them, keep them in mind there. Share some of the projects. What's some of the kind of numbers and stuff you can share with us to just encourage people and show them what's possible out there? I remember, was it Ballornock or something? There was one that stuck in my head with some of the images. Remember that? Or any other one you can think of off the top of your head to kind of share what's out there?
Yeah, I mean, Wallacewell Road in Ballornock was the first one, so that was kind of, that was really close after I think that might have been running about the same time.
Was it? Right.
I done the course maybe just after, just on Rightmove again, on the phone to John, and I was just kind of scrolling, and we were talking about, desperate, we need to get a flip, we need to get something, just desperate. We're on Rightmove constantly, doing viewings constantly. And then we've seen this one pop up, kind of round the corner for both of us. And it was
in the corner.
It's crazy.
I love it.
It'd been on since July.
Right.
And at that point I didn't even put two and two together in terms of why is it still on, that should have been snapped up. Didn't realise it probably fell through. It wasn't until we made the call and we get told it fell through 3 months after it'd been listed, 2-3 months after it'd been listed. So we inquired about that. There was open viewings happening on the Saturday. We couldn't go because we had a meeting few days before and ended up getting COVID, the both of us.
Oh, God.
So we couldn't go to the viewing. So we ended up just putting an offer in anyway.
A remote offer.
I just put it in, we saw the pictures and just thought, let's just go for it,
Right.
Bit of a daft risk at the time probably, but it worked out all right. So, so we got the viewings didn't come to anything on this Saturday. Mm-hmm. We got our offer accepted.
Right.
Now, at that time, we were just a little bit naive in the sense that, there wasn't a bathroom suite in. It was such poor condition, the property.
Was it?
Aye, really poor. The kitchen wasn't great, but we were getting told off the agent that we'll get a mortgage.
Right.
And we kind of questioned it, but we thought, if she's telling us that, maybe we're missing something.
Yeah.
So we went ahead with it, put the offer in with the mortgage and stuff, and the lender went out, obviously declined the mortgage.
Sure.
Uninhabitable.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, right, what do we do now? So because obviously being here, we thought, I spoke to somebody in the group as well, and he's like, why don't you try this? And I was like, that's a great idea. We kind of done a mini assisted sale.
Right,
so
okay.
we says to them, we're going to put we'll install a bathroom suite. That will allow us to then get a mortgage. So we done that, and we still get declined the second time round. So it was, the electrics were really poor, the kitchen's poor, everything was just, the house was in right poor condition. So the next natural step was an assisted sale,
right?
Which took a bit of convincing, but we got there in the end. I mean, the viewings that I touched on the Saturday, the offers were going in at 50,000-60,000 cash because of how poor the property was.
Sure.
So we were giving them $3,500 over home report. Right. At 83.5 we kind of agreed. So that was fine. We went in, we done the renovation, everything was going well. It was it was finished in 11 weeks.
Right.
And then once the offer got accepted, that's when the problems started.
As you get more challenges.
So it was
loads of lessons.
Loads and loads of lessons. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I think the conveyancing was, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 weeks.
Right.
5 days after it was due to complete, the buyers pulled out.
Oh, God.
They went on the market again with a new agent. New agent was brilliant. We got an offer, we got a cash offer, but they failed to actually produce a formal offer within 2 weeks. And we were kind of saying, right, we'll give them more time because it was a cash offer. Yeah. And then we eventually had to pull the plug on them because they just weren't producing. So we went to the next in line again, and that's the one that we got over the line.
Right.
So
brilliant.
The numbers on that were still excellent.
Yeah.
I think at the time the first offer we were looking at amazing $47,000 profit,
right?
And we were thinking, this is unbelievable. We still managed to get £40,000
right?
profit
it's
off that.
So folks will just be struggling to believe. What? What? Sorry, it's amazing. Right. So carry on. Yep.
Aye. So no, that was. It just took. It took so. I mean, it was a slog. From getting the contract signed in when was it? January was it? To actually completion was like 10 months.
Was it?
So it's
wow.
It's no, isn't it all, assisted sales are great.
And it's a strategy, isn't it?
It's just a great strategy.
Just one of the things in your toolkit.
It's just something to always keep in mind, I think, with them, is, it's no, you don't own it.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure the seller is 100% on board.
That's it.
Because what if it goes over, we had in our contract that we had until something like May or June or something to get it sold. Right. We obviously went over that, but the seller was fine, because he was on board with what we were doing, and he was getting more money than he could ever have got in a cash offer, So
exactly, helping him at the same time.
So it's
that's class. See that story, that kind of shows everything. I think it shows everything about you. It shows everything about the group that you're in and you're working with as well, because you can put down a bit of paper that says we did this deal and we get $40,000 profit. Wow, and quite rightly, that's impressive and fantastic, and that's the good story. Or you can write another bit of paper and say, whoa, tell you property, oh my God, this fell through and that fell through, and the conveyancing was this long, and then with this problem, the mortgage and the such, oh my God, both are true.
Yeah.
Both are true, It's challenging, it's difficult, there's puzzles to solve, there's problems to solve, but that's what you are, that's who you've become, that's what you and John do. You solve problems and you help people and you have services that, well, let's work it this way. Well, okay, let's go this way. And then at the end of all that puzzle, there's the success. The success for you and your business and the money in the bank, the success for that seller as well, you know, who God knows what kind of trouble they'd went through in the past trying to get things solved. And then all the people that you've interacted with, the agents, solicitors, everybody that's all benefiting from it, you know. And I love the fact also in that wee puzzle, and you've shown it in so many other deals as well. Oh, this one we bought for home report value. This one we bought for $5,000 over home report value, because there's a misconception with a lot of people, and it's just because of things like tabloid newspapers. Oh, everybody in property, they're scam artists and snake salesmen, and they're just, you know, they're trying to con poor people out of their properties just because maybe the kitchen isn't quite good. That goes on, it does, but that's not how you operate, and that's not how the people we know operate. You know, you can still fit the puzzle for everybody. You're going to get a good value out of this. You're going to get what you want out of this. Sometimes you do get a good discount because, you know, it's not the money for them, it's the speed, or it's the next house that you manage to line up for them, whatever. You know, it's brilliant things. Do you get that satisfaction as well? You know, not only just seeing the money click in the bank, but knowing we finished that one good and that property looks beautiful and that's great, we helped that buyer.
100%.
That's good seeing that investor happy, I
think when you tell people that, a lot of people just don't believe you anyway. Right. You know, and that genuinely is, I do feel good about that, you know. I think it's a big part of it because, like you say, you're no want to go in and people go in all the time and just lowball. And that's interest. That's, I 100% believe that's one of the main reasons we got our second assisted sale. Because, you know, I just went in, listened to what the woman had to say, the wife, and it was literally like a half an hour of just shouting about her ex-husband, you know, he's this and he's that and he's not helping me with this and I just kind of stood there and listened to her, you know, and just kind of
actually listened
to her and stuff like that, and just but at this point I had no idea where it was going to go or whatever, you know, but
it's brilliant.
It's wee things that you get off some sellers that they say, you know, I had somebody else in and I just didn't take to him. You know, he was in chapping the walls and wanting to knock walls down and take rip kitchens and stuff like that.
It's my house.
And they say they don't want that. As much as they want to sell, they don't want somebody coming in and saying that about the house, do you know what I mean?
Correct.
So,
and that's what those amateurs and the cowboys think. Oh no, I don't care about the person that loves you, and I'll just go in and I'll do whatever the hell I want and I'll just lowball everybody, and it's just a numbers game. That's how I'll behave. I don't care about people. That goes on, sadly. Thankfully, that's not how we operate, that's not how you operate as a business, and it then leads to other things, because all of a sudden the phone's getting lifted. You say, this guy David, by the way, so you should speak to him as well, because he's amazing how he works, amazing how he operates. He's a professional, actually. You know, there's a simple word to try and bloody learn. So, challenges, successes, roller coaster, Is it that kind of world?
100%.
Solving the problems and moving on to the next one and the next one.
Every week, you know, some weeks you get a week where you come to Friday and you think, what the hell just happened that week? Like, it was an absolute shambles, you know what I mean? This fell through and that, they pulled out and this, and you're just like, what's going on? And the next week it's all positive. And then, you know, the next week it's up and down, so it's crazy, but strangely that's what I love about it.
You like that variety?
I like that.
It's not that mundane
I like that
thing.
How you don't know what's going to happen next, you know, day to day. I enjoy that.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Now let's get back to David, because that's great, he helped there and that's great, he made money there and that project. But remember the goal. The big goal was, I want to change my lifestyle here, I want to change my career, I want to be at home more, I want to have that kind of control and freedom. You've managed that, haven't you? You've actually done that. That's unreal. That's, I mean, how does that even feel?
Oh, it's amazing. It honestly is. It's next week, I think, it's a year to the day since I done Protege.
Wow.
And the fact that I'm just sitting here talking to you is crazy, do you know what I mean? It wasn't easy, but like,
no.
The thing is, like, jumping back, when I had sort of quit offshore after I'd done Protege, I was back on the sites, back on the building sites. So it was like Monday to Friday. I was getting a half day on a Friday, so I was doing all my viewings on a Friday afternoon, some Saturdays, and then I went to the shipyards.
That's right, so you did, yes.
So, you know, I went on the weekend shift for a reason, so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're doing 12.5-hour shifts. You've no life basically, do you know what I mean? Because it's a weekend. So that allowed me to focus on my property stuff for four full days.
Yeah.
So, you know, from you know, I don't know, early on in the year, it was 7 days a week, constant.
Right.
So Monday to Thursday, you know, you don't feel like you're working because you're doing something you love and you're trying to get somewhere, and it's, you know, you can see a sort of an end in sight, if you like, if you keep plugging away at it.
Yeah.
But you know, the weekends at the shipyards was quite brutal, you know. So it was 7 days a week constant, but it got me to where you know I'm now. I mean, it wouldn't have been as easy if I was working Monday to Friday. Yeah. You know, 9-10 hour shifts or whatever, and then try to do the property around it. So I made that kind of sacrifice that I'm going to give up my weekends, my social life, you know, time with the family or whatever, to make sure that I can try and...
It's for a purpose, exactly. This is a temporary thing. This isn't what I'm wanting here. I'm doing this for a reason. That says a lot about your commitment. It says a lot about your dedication and your focus.
There was just no option. So at one point it became like there was no alternative.
Yeah,
I had to make it, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't going to be working in the shipyards. I wasn't going to be working on building sites. I had found a wee bit of momentum. Yeah. You know, I was working with some good people in the group and people out with the group as well. Yeah. You know, we were doing wee joint ventures and deals, taking them to my investors. I'm giving them to their investors, and as I said at the start, you know, it's a massive part of how I'm here today, sort of thing. You know, so and how I've managed to quit my job. So it wasn't easy, but it just feels amazing now. It's absolutely buzzing now.
Do you know what I love about that? You've kind of brought the story full circle there, because we're talking at the start about how the offshore life at that time, you were kind of convincing yourself that you were sacrificing for the wee man. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really true. You know, you were just kind of justifying it and putting up with it and stuff. Whereas fast forward to the end of that story and that point where you did all the weekend working and long shifts and everything else, you were sacrificing again, but you were sacrificing for you this time. Aye. For your goal, for your mission, for your business, which would then help the wee man and the good lady behind you as well. You know, a kind of truer, more authentic sacrifice almost, you know. You weren't justifying it and kidding on and putting your head in the sand. No, I'm going to do this, but it's for this, and it's for the business that I've started, and it's for the thing that I've now got a bit of momentum on. That's class. That's a cracking wee kind of bookmark to that story. Those two pieces of sacrifice. I bloody love that. I love it. Now, I want to be respectful of your time, because you've shared so much, which is tremendous. And everybody watching, listening, whenever it's safe to do so, go into the show notes page. You'll see all of David's links. Click in, follow him. You know, hook out, get in touch with him. You know, if you got a place that you want to sell, are you an investor? You want to use his expertise? Use those links. But the last thing, kind of before that, in fact, let me ask you two things. Goals and stuff. What's the next goals? What's the next targets? Because you've done what you set out to achieve. So it's like, what am I doing now? What is the plan going forward?
It's just to really scale up in the sourcing, you know, spend a wee bit more money again on marketing, you know, trying to get more leads, deals, you know, maybe look to grow a bit in terms of bringing somebody in.
Right. Nice.
Going to look at that soon. And the property development, we've got a commercial to residential.
So this is one Ayrshire we're talking about stuff. So you're quite excited about that one.
But it's not a done deal yet. But you know, it's really close.
Brilliant.
Really close to getting a missive signed. As I say, I just need to send that big list of stuff away. But I spoke to him this morning, and it's basically the offers there, just waiting on us getting this documentation and stuff.
Then it's going to be a whole new world for you.
I mean, it's something that me and John done the two assisted sales, which were great, and we'll still be looking for flips and assisted sales and other things like that, but we are definitely more interested now in, you know, the commercial to resis. I've done the land course recently, and
so you did, of course.
So maybe not land the greenfield and stuff like that right now, but you know, definitely, you know, the commercial to resis before they get to planning, taking it through planning.
So many opportunities.
You know, exactly. That's something I'm definitely interested in the next year. Portfolio wise, not really.
Right, just now, keep that away at the moment.
I mean,
you've got enough on. Let's be honest.
I don't know. It's just that. Me and John had a chat about this, and we want to get to a position where, you know, we can maybe buy 6 at the one time.
Right.
Not just one and then wait a few months for another one. You know,
gotcha.
We'd rather keep doing developments and stuff like that. John's got a project management, construction background anyway, so he loves all that stuff anyway. So
perfect.
We'll be holding off in the portfolio for a few years, I think.
Right. You're a busy man. I bloody love it. Last question, a bit deep about yourself. That whole journey that you've been kind enough to share, the starting points, the struggles, the challenges, the growth, the successes, the milestones, the achievements, and blah, blah, blah. What have you learned about yourself through all of this, would you say?
I've probably learned that I'm a lot more determined than I thought I was. I've always kind of thought I'm quite determined, but you see just that, like, that sort of giving up offshore, and then you obviously got the people that thought you were mad. The sort of commitment just to give up my life as such for about eight months, because obviously doing the shipyard work and then doing my property, and you're not getting any time at the weekend to go out or whatever. You know, I know it's kind of COVID time anyway, which made it a little bit easier. A lot easier probably actually. But I don't know. It's I've learned a lot of stuff as well that I need to work on.
Right,
100%. You know what I mean? Like stuff that, you know, back when we had that assisted sale, we done another wee talk with somebody, and you know that was great. We probably shouldn't have done it. The project wasn't complete and that and stuff. And just we daft stuff we've done over the course of the time that, you know, we just didn't realise, you know, and it's not until you look back and you think, right, I'll no do that again, or you know, there's loads of wee things that even a week to week basis, I think that. But I'm proud of what I've achieved. You know what I mean? I'm 100%. I think there's been so many more highs than there has been lows. And as I say, like I've managed to. My ultimate goal was just to do property full time. So that's I can't actually think of a goal like that I've got just now. You know, I've got different wee goals here and there, but that was like the ultimate goal. And now I've done that, maybe I need to actually think about, right, what's the next sort of goal like that, because that was a massive achievement for me. You know?
It definitely is. It definitely is, and it's an amazing story. I can't thank you enough for sharing it, because there'll be folks listening, folks watching, who are like, yeah, that's what I need. That's a wee kick up the backside I need. And actually, if I'm honest with myself, I'm doing what David did. I'm justifying things. I'm kidding myself on here. I'll give them a wake up call as well. Hopefully, it's brilliant. So, good luck in everything you're doing. Looking forward to the next one, the next chapter, and the next story. You know, we'll get you back in. Guess what I've done now, Richard? Oh my God, I can only imagine. But for today, for sharing everything, thanks a million.
No worries, Richard. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. Remember, with the guests that you just saw, go into the show notes for the page, because all of their links are there so that you can get in touch and to get more information. And talking about getting more information, more guests, more insights, more knowledge, etc., make sure you're subscribed. Get the subscription done, get the notifications on, and then we'll always keep in touch with you every single time a brand new show is going to come out. So thanks for tuning to This Week in Property.